Eafc 24 is right around the corner. So for a lot of people, it's time to start thinking about squads you're going to put together, teams you're going to use. And today, we're going to do exactly that. I've got what I think is a pretty cheap and OP looking starter team. So today, we're going to go through that team. I'm going to show you it, and hopefully you guys are excited. If you end up enjoying this team, please do leave a like on the video. It supports me, the video, and the channel out a whole bunch. If you're new and you're excited for FC24 content, not just building squads before the game, but when the game is out as well, make sure you hit that sub button. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the squad we are building today is a bit of a hybrid. It's a hybrid of two leagues. We're looking at the Premier League, but we're also actually looking at the Turkish League. Now, there's actually some really good looking starter cards in the Turkish League, but I think they're going to be relatively cheap. So this squad is for people at the start of the game. I'm not going to say this squad's going to be amazing for you throughout the entire year. I'm not saying that at all. But for the start of the game, I think this will be very cheap. There's a lot of teams that I'm putting together that when I say like a low budget or like a mid to low budget, I'm talking it's still possibly going to cost you around 100k. This team, I do not see being anywhere near that budget at all. There's a handful of players in here that I think will actually be below 1,000 coins, almost discard off the bat. So without further ado, let's look at the squad. Let's start building it. You may notice I have got a Senegalese manager set in place here. Now, that isn't necessarily even a thing that's in the game. I don't even know if there's a manager from Senegal in FC24. If there isn't, the team has 32 chemistry instead of 33. So it's just worth bearing that in mind. So we're going to start off in goal, and the goalkeepers, I say this a lot when I'm building squads and I'm talking about squad builders. Take the goalkeeper with a slight pinch of salt because we have no idea what keepers are going to be good or bad in the game. This keeper that I've got in there is basically in there for the sake of chemistry. We're looking at Ortega. The fact he's from Man City helps out with a player we've got coming down the line. But, you know, I think he's got potential to be a decent starter keeper. Good base-ish stats. So that's what I've gone with. Good reflexes is always nice, but kind of take that with a slight pinch of salt. Going across the back line, we're going with a player that used to be incredibly overpowered in previous FIFAs. We're looking at Patrick Van Aanholt. Now, right here, this is him, no chemistry on a basic. Even just on this basic, stats-wise, he looks pretty decent. I would recommend in-game going with an anchor card. That makes his card look very nice indeed. But yeah, this I think is a real nice starter card. And because he's like mid-80 on the pace and he's from a bit of an obscure league, I don't see him being crazy expensive, which is why I've thrown him in there. And going into the defense, this is where we start going back to the Premier League side of things. Now, this player here is possibly going to be the cheapest of the bunch. Now, base card as a right back, but obviously in FC24, no position modifiers needed to change players' positions. But Ben White, I think, looks pretty good. Again, if you whack him on 3 chemistry and you go ahead and put an anchor on his card when I eventually find it, for a starter centre-back, it's not bad at all. You've got 87 defending, which is not bad. High 70s, or mid to high 70s, I should say, in the pace department, which again, for a starter centre-back, not bad at all. And really nice physical stats as well. I think, honestly, for a starter card, he's going to be really good and really cheap. He's a kind of card I see a lot of people just overlooking at the start of the game and thinking, he's non-rare, 70-ish pace, meh. I think for the start of the game, pretty good. And also base card as a right back. So I think a lot of people will see 72 pace at right back and think, no, thank you. So I'm hoping that'll be the case. A player that I think people will be less likely to slightly overlook is going to be Guehi. Now, realistically, a lot of people are running Guehi for starter teams. They've got the same pace. Like, they literally have the same pace, White and Guehi. There's less defending on Guehi and less physicality. There's basically better stats on Ben White across the board. But a lot of people are looking at Guehi as a really good starter card. And I do agree. I'm not saying he's going to be bad by any stretch. Otherwise, I wouldn't put him in this starter team. But very similar stats once you give him that anchor as well. And he's on 3 chemistry, which he will be. Again, I think super viable, super decent looking card for the start of the game. And finishing off the defense, I should say, we're going back to the Turkish League and we're going with Bowie. I might be saying that wrong, but this guy again looks phenomenal. You put that anchor on 90 pace and then you've got decent enough defending, decent enough. Well, physicality is actually fantastic, I'll be honest with you. And then his agility and balance is great as well for a fullback. The dribbling overall, I think, is decent for a fullback. The passing's a little bit lacking. So actually, if you're quite happy with his physicality stats already, I'd possibly say going with that engine. But I think you kind of want the anchor just for the sake of the defending stats, because his physicality is already good enough. But overall, I think this is a really, really good looking right back. And again, I think he'll be overlooked because he's in an obscure league. Good nation and a decent looking amount of pace and stats. High work rates, which for some people is a bit of a turn off for cards, but I really like it. You'll see going forward into the midfield, we're actually running the brand new 4-2-1-3 formation that's in FC24 with 2 CDMs and a cam. Previously, we've not had that. It's always been CDMs and a centre mid, or a cam and centre mid. So just worth bearing that in mind. On the right, we're going to go to the Turkish League again, and we're looking at Terraria. Now, Terraria for the start of the game, I think it's got a really, really nice card. This is his base card you can see on the screen here, and it looks okay, granted. Nothing mental, nothing crazy, but 87 agility, 90 balance for a CDM. Fantastic. Decent pace. The split's a little bit stinky, but the pace stat overall is nice. 92 stamina. Fantastic. In all honesty, you know I'm going to say it because so far I've put it on pretty much every single card. I'm going again with an anchor because that is a phenomenal starter card. Absolutely phenomenal. But realistically, I think this guy is super, super viable. And again, some Galatasaray links. So at the moment on 2, there is one more Galatasaray player coming up, but actually 2 more players from the Turkish League anyway. So some real nice links here. And I really, really like the squad so far. His partner in crime is the other player from the Turkish League, and it's Badu Ndiaye. Now, used to play at Stoke, had a fantastic silver card last year that was very overpowered, but hello. Sorry, what? Look at this card. This card is absolutely mental. I love this card so much. In all honesty, I'm personally looking at probably a backbone, because I think 84 pace off the jump is plenty good enough for a CDM. High work rates, which again for a DM you might be a little bit iffy with, but I think again in the midfield that we're running, this is a real good looking card. But it just gets to short passing up to just below 80, which I quite like as well. And again, these stats are fantastic. 80s across the board in physicality, decent enough defending, dribbling's really nice as well, good pace, shooting don't worry too much about. Really good looking card. Now, he is the card that you need the Senegalese manager for. Without the Senegalese manager, he is on 2. So just bear that in mind, but I don't think it's the end of the world. At cam, now, there's going to be people who know me well and are saying that I'm picking this guy just because I love him. It's only partly true. Abire Eze. I stand by this. This card, genuinely, with an upgrade or in the evolution system, will become disgustingly good. 4-star, 3-star, can play central, can play out wide, medium work rates. The only issue with this base card is there are better cam options from the Prem. There really are. But I think they're all going to be quite expensive. A card I'd love to put in this team would be Szoboszlai. I would need a Liverpool player in the team over Guehi, which then just makes it more expensive. But I think Eze looks really good. I really do. I think, again, if you throw on, and don't worry, I'm not going to put an anchor on him. I'm going to put a Hawk on him. With a Hawk, he looks really good. Or you could go with an engine if you're more fussed about his passing. That's entirely up to you. That actually gives him explosive sprint speed as well. But his agility and balance before even putting the engine on, really nice. Strength's a tad low, but I don't think that's a problem. 74 stamina for a cam, maybe not absolutely ideal, but I think for the price he's going to be, I don't think he's going to be crazy expensive. I think that this card will be very viable for the start of the game. Again, for me, Hawk or engine, and I think you're laughing. They suggest finisher, which gives him 90 dribbling. I think that makes him the highest rated in game, but for me, I think with the stats you want to boost, I'm probably going to go with a Hawk. And again, I think he's going to be really decent. There are, as I say, better options, but when it comes to price, it becomes a little bit of an option. It can be anyone English from the Prem. That would still work chem-wise. It could be anyone from Arsenal or City. Smith Rowe's card I don't think looks quite as good. And the other options I think are a bit too pricey. That's my personal opinion. Then we're going to go to Alvarez on the right-hand side here. Normally a striker, but can play right wing. The only thing I'm going to say to you with this card is he needs a chem style. The pace being 79 is a touch low if you're playing him out wide. In game, I probably would move him to a striker. Playing like a 4-2-2 would be perfect for this system, or a 4-3-1-2 if you don't mind one of your centre mids being a bit more attacking orientated, and that probably would end up being Eze, sort of running a centre mid that turns into a cam. But I really do think this card is fantastic. Bearing in mind his dribbling has not been touched here by the chem style. That's outrageously good looking stats. For an 80 rated striker, let alone an 80 rated winger, fantastic dribbling stats. The pace does need the upgrade. That's the only thing I'm going to say. If you end up playing him central, I think a hunter's what you go for. If you end up playing him out wide, I think you go with the catalyst just to get that passing up a little bit. Gets the crossing to 90 as well, which is fantastic, and above 80 on the long pass and hit 80 on the short pass. But for me, super, super good looking card. I really, really like this card a lot. On the left, we're going to go to our final card from the Turkish league, and we're looking at Zahar. Now, I personally think, yet again, this guy's going to be absolutely ignored. I think he's got a nice card, but I think early doors, most people that are looking to pick this card up are just looking at him as potentially like a, could be like a fun super sub. It's the kind of card that if you pack him, you probably whack him on the bench. 5-star, 3-star, again, high work rate, so does have the intention of coming back if you need him. So if you're dropping into a more defensive position, he can pull back and join the defense a little bit, or help the midfield out at the very least. I'm whacking a dead eye on him. Gives him great short passing, gives him really, really nice shooting stats as well. I think he's plenty quick enough. If you really are fussed about pace, then I guess go with a Hawk or with an engine if you so wish. If you're playing him central, he needs a shooting boost. I'm going with a dead eye, I think, on him because he looks really, really viable in that position, playing either as sort of the centre forward / striker role that plays just behind your number 10, or you have, just behind your number 9, basically, or you have him sit out wide and you don't worry too much about the shooting. I think Zahar looks truly fantastic. To finish this team off, I'm going to be honest with you, it can be any Premier League striker as long as they have either the same team or nation as somebody else in the team. So you could go with any Dutch Premier League striker, any French Premier League striker, English, Argentinian, whatever you want. The card that I've thrown in there for now is Ollie Watkins. Now, 3-star skill moves is a bit of a turn off for me. I'm not the biggest fan of players with 3-star skill moves, but if you don't mind it, this is a really nice starter card. The reason I think he's going to be a bit cheaper is because, again, I think there are slightly better options out there. Eafc, for me, is one of the best looking starter striker cards. Obviously, doesn't get into this team with chemistry. He also doesn't appear on the easy SBC list, which is quite annoying. Unless I'm doing something really wrong and spelling his name wrong, we'll never know. But Wilson, I think, as well, looks really good. But I think because Wilson's face stats look that little bit better, I think people will go for Wilson over Watkins. Watkins is quicker, so Watkins does have that going for him. But honestly, you can go with either. The reason I've gone with Watkins, as I say, is because I think he's going to be slightly lower rated. Fantastic looking card. Again, if you're fussed about pace, you want a hunter on him. If you're not as fussed about pace, but you'd like a bit of a boost, you go with the Hawk. If you're not fussed about that at all, honestly, you probably either go Maestro just to get a little bit into the dribbling. It's only really his dribbling and reactions, though, that are boosted. Otherwise, you want to go for, I forget which one, it's Marksman. Otherwise, Marksman's what you go for, because it just gets the ball control up a little bit, gets the dribbling, and then some nice shooting stats. For me, Watkins, like I say, is going to be a decent little starter striker. Kind of like, gives me Callum Wilson vibes from previous FIFAs. Not quite as quick, but I think it'll be very effective for you. I honestly don't see this team being much more than 50k. You can call me crazy if you want, but I don't see any players in there that will start off in the game for more than 5,000 coins. Whether that's because there are better players in the positions that you've got them in for the Prem players, the likes of Watkins, White, Guehi, Eze, or obscure league. Who's going to go and run Turkish league teams at the start of the game? Not many people, but potentially me if I can sneak some of these guys in, because again, I think that team looks fantastic. You can see the meta rating is just below 80. Now, this is basically based on how the cards look according to base stats and stuff, and what this AI squad builder thinks the meta is going to be looking like in FC24. I personally think this team looks really, really viable. I wouldn't be upset running that at the start of the game, bearing in mind it's going to be a tricky old, a tricky old grind for a lot of people if you're not spending FIFA points. I don't use FIFA points, so starting off with cheap teams and building your coins up to then make upgrades is how I always tend to do things. A team like this for me looks fantastic. Let me know in the comments down below if you think this team looks as good as I think it does. If you don't, let me know. Let me know if there's players you would change or you think I've missed in there. And And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like on the video. Supports me, the video, and the channel out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn notifications on to be told anytime that we upload a video. If you want to catch us on our live streams, we're live over on Twitch and we upload to TikTok. Links to both are down below. Make sure you show them some love. But that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome. And I'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves and, of course, wash your hands. Take care.